In this video, I get personal, and the reasons will be explained here and also in video 12. In video 2, we looked at the strange Watchtower philosophy of withholding truthful information from people they claim are not entitled to it. I was to discover in recent times that the present-day elders, or at least some of them, are into deliberate lying to defend the Jehovah's Witness faith. I made 3 visits to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Anchovy, St. James, Jamaica. On 2 of these visits, I had to shake my head and smile. But on one occasion, the second visit, I experienced a lot of emotions ranging from confusion or indecision, sadness, pity, and eventually anger. I shook my head, I smiled, and I sighed on the first visit because of a young man who encouraged the brothers to use the older magazines because they are, according to him, never irrelevant, never outdated. You have to wonder if these people are to be taken seriously. It would be funny if it wasn't so serious. I wondered if he realized what he was saying. Is he not aware of the many outdated teachings in the older publications? Would he dare to encourage persons to distribute the January 15, 2008 magazine with the now outdated teaching that the slave was appointed over all of the master's belongings in 1919? Does he consider that still relevant? I also smiled on the third visit on reading the statement about God providing protection through the organization and its publications. I'll tell you about my second visit, the one on which I lost my cool. Everything was going quite fine. I was observing the things that would impress my brother who invited me there. The people are sincerely warm. You know it's coming from the heart when they tell you it's nice to have you and invite you to come again. We were worshiping in air-conditioned comfort, a feature not very common in churches in Jamaica. Apart from the weird situation of persons not allowed to ask questions and their regurgitating the information read to them, I liked the sober atmosphere in which the study was conducted, or at least what they call a study. As a choir director and a musician of sort, I kinda liked the simplicity and beauty of the recorded piano music to which they sang, even if I wished I could have heard some harmony instead of everyone singing in unison, but I could live with that. The music was not very rich, but it was acceptable. I wish there was a choir, but that did not bother me either. What eventually bothered me was the lie told to Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide that folks were not exactly sure what would happen in 1914, hiding the truthful information that Russell had given them all of 7 things to expect, none of which came true. As I sat and listened to it, I wondered what to do. Should I raise my hand and point out it is not true? I felt I should, but the maxim, "He that winneth souls is wise," immediately came to mind. I figured that, with the Jehovah's Witness mindset, the very people I would seek to save from a lie would end up not giving me a hearing and resenting me for daring to interrupt their programmed service. I had a discussion with an elder after the service ended who looked me in the eye and told me that it was true, that they were not aware what to expect. Lie number 1. He did not even realize how he contradicted himself with lie number 2. When I asked him what it was that Russell told them to expect, he said Russell had been telling them that Jesus would be enthroned as king in 1914. Lie number 2. The same man who told me that they were not sure what to expect is now implying that they were expecting Jesus to be enthroned as king in the heavens. But it was not the contradiction that caused me to lose my cool. It was lie number 2. And his attempts to try to change the subject. I gave the brother a few opportunities to recant, telling him I have read the relevant sections in the Proclaimer's book, that I am aware of the history, that I have the evidence he refused to look at, while insisting that Russell was foretelling that Jesus would be enthroned as king in 1914, and he did it with a cunning smile on his face. That meeting ended, as I decided not to continue arguing with a dishonest person. Folks, I lost it. I told him repeatedly and quite audibly that he was a damn liar. I was angry now. During that week, my brother called and gave me the number for another elder, Opal Campbell. Maybe I'm not pronouncing his first name correctly, but it was Elder Campbell. He apologized for his colleague and admitted that what he said was not true. We spoke for hours and touched on a few areas on which we could not agree. It was really a distinct pleasure speaking with him, a pretty intelligent gentleman. In the end, I told him that we were not going to get very far discussing theology. I told him that I am prepared to put my beliefs aside and embrace his if he could demonstrate to me that the Watchtower is indeed Jehovah's organization. We discussed Matthew 25:45-47, me telling him it is just a parable and he telling me it is a prophecy. I told him I would love to meet with him to settle this issue, to which he agreed, and the conversation ended after midnight. A few Sundays subsequent, the anticipated meeting took place. To my dismay, Elder Campbell, who sat with me, my brother Derek, and another young Jehovah's Witness brother called Ricky, flatly refused to discuss the agreed matter of the faithful and discreet slave. He flatly told me he would not look on any Watchtower literature I had, because he had no way of knowing they were not doctored. Not that he was accusing me of doctoring them, he added. Rather, he wanted to give me a Bible study with what does the Bible really teach. My motive and integrity were then called into question. Of course, that was not the least bit surprising to me. I know how that one works. As expected as well, nothing a former member of the governing body had to say was of any significance. After all, the late Ray Franz was an apostate, an agent of Satan. But here's what I did not expect from Elder Campbell. He also lied to me. He told me that the organization stopped preaching 1874 and 1878 before 1914. He said that this was done sometime around 1907, he thinks. Why are these Jehovah's Witness elders lying? What kind of religion is worth protecting by compromising one's integrity? Any religious conviction that must be protected by lying is a religious conviction that must be hastily buried, for it cannot be of God. I mention Elder Campbell by name, not to publicly embarrass him. Please note, it is out of love and concern for this gentleman that I am seeking to use this method to get him to be honest with himself and others, for that's the only way he can be released from the shackles of the organization. Prior to a recent development, the very thought of starting a YouTube channel about the Watchtower had never crossed my mind. Subsequent to that meeting, I sent him a number of questions via text messages. He refused to answer. I felt that maybe he just does not do text messaging, but at least the next time we meet he could have the answers. To my surprise, he called my brother, apparently asking him to tell me to desist from texting him. So now he's not talking to me. Apparently, I am now being shunned. I guess I am now an agent of Satan as well. I figured that reaching out to him will not work. It was then and there that I decided to start this YouTube channel, and here's one of the reasons. Jehovah's Witnesses, I have found, seem to be of the view that they can lie to you, refuse to answer your questions, shake the dust off their feet, and move on to the next person they can deceive, and we should not allow this to continue. They can successfully shun former members. They can also successfully shun those who know the truth about the organization. But can they successfully evade facing the truth if their friends and the people to whom they are witnessing are made aware of the truth, and they are consequently bombarded with the very questions they seek to duck? It is probably easy to go to bed forgetting about a little insignificant non-Jehovah's Witness, an agent of Satan that you lied to, and sleep easy. Maybe. But it should not be easy if it is now an open secret that you are lying in your quest to preach what you call the truth. It is probably easy to disregard Ray Franz and the truths he told if your friends and the people to whom you're witnessing are not aware of it. But how easy will it be if they are in the know? I mention Elder Campbell by name with the hope that these videos will go viral, that his friends, persons to whom he's witnessing, and members of the congregation who are not aware of the lie he told in chambers are made aware and ask him to explain. Elder Campbell is worth the trouble. He is more than worth it. I will explain in video 12. I am hoping that persons in Jamaica and the rest of the world will have their eyes open to the truth about this lamb-like organization that, on the surface of it, is a society to be greatly admired. Please help me help this brother. Please share these videos. Let us not stop until people in Montego Bay, people in Jamaica, people all over the world become aware and avoid being brainwashed by this organization that is steeped in dishonesty. Maybe you yourself have a relative, a loved one you cannot reach, but someone else, educated about the organization, can ask them to explain the things they refuse to face. Let's do this, folks. Social media can be very effective. Together we can. Elder Campbell and I, that Sunday, spoke in a few matters of theology, and of his organization I asked a question. I asked him what a brother should have done if prior to July 15, 2013, he could not have accepted the teaching that Jesus appointed the slave over all his belongings in 1919, or any other teaching they subsequently changed, if that brother should be disfellowshipped. He responded that the brother should not question or doubt or leave the organization, that the brother should do what he, Elder Campbell, does. He admitted that he does not understand the new light about the generation that shall not pass away. an intelligent Jehovah's Witness elder who does not understand that new weird teaching. Remember, members who do not understand should ask an elder. Has he asked any of his fellow elders? Whatever transpired before, up to that date, he did not understand it. We will be discussing this topic in video 16. This is Elder Campbell's advice to a model Jehovah's Witness. Wait on Jehovah, which, by the way, is the topic of the next video.